Good morning. It is Friday, September 21st, 2018. And I'm on my way to work early again, as you can tell, to make up for yesterday. Went to the doctor's. I'll talk about that in a second. And did not go to the gym because by the time I was done doing all the stuff I had to do for the doctors, it was, I don't know, 6 o'clock or whatever. And I was very irate. Ate decent yesterday, obviously, but okay to have surgery, doctor says, so he's going to send over a letter clearing me. So, a couple months ago, I want to say in like August, I got a notice in the mail telling me that it was time for my yearly checkup. And so I call and schedule this appointment and get it, and okay, it's my yearly checkup. Okay, thank you. Now, in between there, I've gone to the doctors a couple times for other things, and you know, stuff. We've taken care of all that. We've taken care of all that. So we've had, you know, I've had other appointments in between there for other things. Got reminders, you know, my appointment's in September 20th or whatever date. Yeah, September 20th. Oh, hold on a second. And so, yeah, so I make the appointment. So I go to the appointment yesterday, and the nurse says, "So what are you here to follow up on?" "I'm here for a physical." "Oh, we don't have time for one of those. We didn't know it was a physical." "What do you mean you didn't know it was a physical?" Like, I don't understand. "Yes, it's a physical." "Oh, okay." I said, "But I also need a letter for the gastric bypass after the physical saying that I'm cleared for surgery." Okay. Doctor comes in. Doctor says, "So what are you here for?" "What do you mean what am I here for? I'm here for a physical. That's what the appointment was scheduled for. You guys sent me a letter telling me that I needed a physical. And so I scheduled it, and that's what I'm here for." "Oh, I didn't know it was a physical." "Okay, well, that's what I'm here for." So then he tells me that I need to have a pap smear. I said, "Well, I was told a couple months back when I came here by another doctor that I don't need a pap smear based on me having a hysterectomy." And he said, "No, if you have a cervix, you need to have a pap smear every year up until the age of 65. I said, "Well, I had a partial hysterectomy. My uterus is gone. I know that. I don't know about my cervix, but I know my uterus is gone. I still have my ovaries." And he's like, "Well, you need to have a pap smear." Hold on. So I've had this complaint before about my doctor's office. And so I'm contemplating and sending an email, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to send an email because I've complained about the importance of them being familiar with their patients. Because it's very frustrating that I come into their office and they have no idea. Now, I understand they see a lot of people, so there's no way they can know me or remember me, but have somewhere where they have quick notes to look at of important talking points and that are pertaining to today's appointment. So the last time I went in, I needed to have blood work done. I again had to educate them why I had to have the blood work done. Now, mind you, I'm telling the receptionist when I schedule the appointment, and then when I come to the appointment, I'm telling the receptionist again why I'm there. And then I'm in the room, I'm telling the nurse why I'm there. And then I have to explain it again to the doctor. So it's kind of irritating. And then every single time we go through, I have to go through my damn history. And it's like, I've been a patient here for, I don't know. And here, when I say here, this is not just like a little mom and pop, like write on a piece of paper office. This is a huge facility with other departments that they sell you to go to them because they are a family. So when you go to one, they all have access to the records. So your information is shared, so it's there. So that's a better, benefit than going to this doctor and then going to this doctor, and then now you have to have this doctor because they're not talking to each other. So the benefit of going to this the hospital, it's called Central Maine Medical Center Family, and so everybody's umbrellaed under this, and they're supposed to be communicating with each other. That's the benefit. And it's really not, because they talk to each other, but because the doctors don't have enough time in the day to review the records, they have no idea. So I said, okay, well, if I have to have, now I'm thinking he's looking at my medical record, because he was like, oh, well, in 2006 you had a hysterectomy, so you need to have, this. And I guarantee you he's going off of based on what I said before. He's not actually looking at a medical record. And so, he's like, so you need to have a pap smear all the way up until you're 65. So he scheduled me an appointment for a pap smear. So I'm like, you know what? I remember when I was in Connecticut, we didn't know, I didn't know what I had. And so the doctor asked me when I was having all these cramps and these pains, and I was like curled over in pain for a couple days. Do you have your tubes? Do you have your cervix? What is it that you have? And so then we didn't know, so I went and had a ultrasound done, and I have no cervix, I have no uterus, but I still have my ovaries and my tubes. So I went, okay, so fine, whatever. But I couldn't remember this, for sure, that's what it was. But I remember going to have the ultrasound, the doctors telling me, blah, blah, blah. I definitely remember them saying I had no uterus. I definitely remember saying that because they said I couldn't carry babies. I couldn't have any more babies. So even if I wanted to have more babies, I couldn't because I couldn't carry them. I remember that part. So, all right. So I get home and I'm like, you know what? Oh, so then I need a letter for the gastric bypass. So before I go to the appointment, I call the gastric bypass office and I say, I'm on my way to my physical. Is there anything that I need for you guys to continue forward? Is there anything? And what testing needs to be done that you're requiring? And she said, well, we don't require any testing. You're going to see your doctor, and your doctor's going to say, oh, you may need this test, or you may need that test to see if you're strong enough to get through surgery. We don't require any of those tests. It's if your doctor says you need them. Oh, that's not what was said to me before. Okay, no problem. And now I know I don't need them. I know that I am healthy enough that I don't need them, so that's not a big deal. So I said, okay, well, thank you very much. And she said, and whatever he does suggest, we'll get the test results and we'll be able to see them. Oh, perfect. Okay, no big deal. Bye. So I go to the doctor's office, and I said, I told him I needed the letter. I needed to be okay to have surgery. And he's like, well, normally they fill out a form or something. They have you give you a form for us to fill out. Oh, they said that you would make your notes and then they would see them and you would be okay. He's like, yeah, it doesn't normally work like that. He's like, either we fill out a form or I got to write a letter. He's like, just when you leave here, call them and let me know. Okay. So I left with a verbal, you're okay to have surgery. but nothing for the bariatric place. So I get out of the doctor's office, I'm in my car, and I call the bariatric place, and she said, oh yes, we need a letter. I said, well, before my appointment I called, and it would have been asked specifically what was needed and was not told that a letter was needed. That would have been nice for me to be able to ask that point in time while I was in there with the doctor. And so I hung up on her. So I called the doctor back. Now I'm on hold with the doctor, the doctor's office, for 15 minutes to then be transferred to a nurse, because I tell the receptionist, oh, I just left the office. I was with Dr. Stanley and I need a letter sent over to Central Maine Bariatrics giving me the clearance to have surgery. Okay, let me make the note and send you over to a nurse. Okay. Now I'm on hold for another 12 minutes. Now I'm telling the nurse, I need a note. Okay, I'll let the doctor know. Thank you. Do you have a fax number for them? No, I don't. Like, do you want me to do all the fucking work for you? You want me to write the fucking letter? Okay. It's okay. We can find it. Yeah, I'm sure you can find it. Alright. So now I'm like, my tolerance level is non-existent anymore. Okay? I am irritated on how this is playing out. So now I call my old doctor who did the hysterectomy, and I say, I explain the whole story. My doctor, my primary care provider is telling me that I need to have a pap smear. Other doctors have told me I don't need a pap smear. I said, and I'm getting frustrated because every other doctor that I talk to tells me I need one. I need to know what the hell I have, so that way I can explain it, since nobody's looking at my medical records to know what I have, and they're not suggesting this information according to my medical records. So she said, hold on. So now I'm on the phone with her, and she did an excellent job, and I really, really, really appreciate it. I so appreciate her going the extra mile to find this stuff out, because I had back in 2008, so it's a lot of medical history that she has to review. Every post-op or every special doctor's note, she's got to open up to see if it is my surgery. So she comes back and she says, so I'm going to tell you what you had done, but I'm also going to send this over to your doctor's office so they can see as well. And if you'd like, I can have Dr. Page let you know what his recommendation is, should you have a pap smear or not. And I said, that would be great. Since that's his job, he is a vagina doctor. That's not what she's saying, that's what I'm saying. He is a vagina doctor. He's a gynecologist. So that's his job. So he would know if I should have a pap smear or not, based on my history. And he will look at it, because he was the doctor who performed it, and he was my doctor, my gynecologist at the time, and he was the one who recommended the hysterectomy, because I had such bad, heavy bleeding that it made me anemic. So he's the one who would know best. Yes, please. So no, I didn't expect a phone call yesterday from them, because it's a lot of work. It was an unexpected call. I didn't expect a call from them. So she tells me, you have your ovaries and your tubes, but you do not have a cervix and a uterus. And she said, so yes, you can have pap smears. She said, but the likely of HPV or anything that is related to disease-wise to the cervix is not an issue anymore, because you don't have the cervix. And as far as other sexually transmitted diseases, of course they don't It's not like they can't come. They can, but you would know the symptoms, you know, way before you had the annual pap smear. You would know your symptoms, because the ones that are available for you to get would display symptoms, you know, to your vagina, to your body. Okay, excellent, thank you. So she's gonna have him call me. So I'm expecting a phone call today from him telling me, or from her, somebody telling me yay or nay on the pap smear. I'm expecting my doctor's office to tell me I don't need to come in. I'm not going in. If they don't call me, I'm going to call them and cancel and be like, I don't need a pap smear. You guys need to look at my records. And I'm going to write a methodical email to the board of directors of the hospital. And I've done this before. And I've done this before because it's very, very frustrating that me as a patient has to do so much legwork for an organization that charges so much money. And here's what I'm saying is, if I'm charged $900, and I don't know what I'm charged because I haven't gotten a bill yet, but I know from my nutritionist I'm charged $78 for 15 minutes. I know for the first initial consult of the bariatrics, I was charged $256. I know for my blood work, I was charged $700. I was charged $75 for each test. So I know that those are the charges. I don't know what I am charged for the other two visits because they just happened so recently. I haven't gotten the bill yet. But I'm entrusting my health in you as my doctor. You should be suggesting treatment according to my history, not what the stereotype is, not what it's typical, not what, according to my history. So I had HPV, and it was cancerous at points in time, and so I had to have my cervix frozen, and I had to have a whole lot of stuff done, and that was the reason why Dr. Page took the cervix. Dr. Page took the uterus and the cervix so that way I didn't have periods anymore, and because I had HPV. So you remove the cervix, HPV attaches to the cervix. You remove the cervix, you don't have that problem anymore. Correct? Because it's a cervical disease. Okay. So, now, I have to sit down and actually think about this letter, and I'm going to outline it. I'm going to write it up first, and I'm going to outline it, and then I'm going to send the email, because it's very, very important that they know that this is what's happening. And because he's giving me treatment that he doesn't know the facts on. So he's suggesting that I have a pap smear when technically a pap smear isn't needed. If a pap smear is needed if you have a cervix with HPV history, and I no longer have a history of it, I no longer have a cervix, that's no longer an issue. So now you're suggesting medical treatment that's not unnecessary. So now you're asking not only myself, because you don't know what the insurance is going to pay. You have no idea as a doctor sitting in that chair what the insurance is. You just know that I'm in that chair. So you don't know if I'm paying this out of my pocket or if the insurance is paying for it. Either way, you're forcing somebody to pay for something that wasn't necessary. The second thing, this is a pattern that I've noticed. The last time when I went for blood work, they had no idea why I was there, and then they basically brushed it off, and they didn't charge me for it because they forgot about me, essentially. So they didn't charge me for that visit. Basically, they forgot that I was sitting in that room because he got busy with another patient. That patient became overwhelming or whatever, and went into an extended period of time, and so then he jumped to the patient after me and totally forgot about me. And then when I had one of the nurses hunt him down, he was like, oh, I apologize. We'll just order the blood work. I forgot about you. You know, we'll just order the blood work and we're not going to charge you for today's visit. You didn't even see me. You just ordered my blood work. That's all you were doing. You did not even see me. Whatever. So, you know, those are things that need to be addressed, and those are things that need to be done. If your doctors are so overwhelmed with seeing patients that they're not capable of knowing the basics about their patient, then that's wrong. And if you're expecting your patient to fill you in with their entire medical history prior to providing them with medical information, then why are they going to a steady doctor? Why don't they just go to the cheapest doctor at the time? Why do they have to keep going to to a steady doctor who is essentially not keeping accurate medical records because you're requiring your patient? So maybe you should, instead of putting it in the computer, maybe you should be writing it on a piece of paper, on a folder, giving it to your patient, and your patient brings it in every visit. Maybe that's the way it should be. I don't really know, but I know that the way it's happening right now is not okay. And I'm frustrated with it because I should know my medical history, absolutely. But so should you, because you have a computer that has it sitting there. So now I've put it in my phone, so now it's with me forever. So if I need to bring it up for whatever reason, it's there. And I'm going to go back and do some of my own research so that way when I do have appointments, I can refer to them, because it's frustrating that they're asking me to recall dates and times and stuff when you're my doctor and you have it all. It's not like I've bounced from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor and you guys aren't talking. I've literally been with this cluster of doctors. Okay, so my son was born in 1999. And I was with one doctor for 5 years over there, and then after he was born, I wanted to have my tubes tied, but because it's a religious hospital, they wouldn't let me do it. So I had to go to this facility, and so that's what made me switch. So I went over to Dr. Page's office. I had my tubes tied, and then that's where I just continued to go after that point in time with my medical stuff. And then I just transferred my primary care provider over to Central Maine Medical Center. And so then I was there, and I was literally there from 2000 until 2012. So I was there for 10 years, 11 years. And then I went to Connecticut for 3 years, and I came back, and I tried to get back into the same medical office, but they were full. Well, really, technically, they didn't like my attitude because I called them out on their bullshit when they were on bullshit, which is fine, because they tried to fire me as a patient because I missed 3 appointments without calling. You have me sitting in your office for 30 fucking minutes each and every time, or you call and cancel and don't give me a 24-hour notice. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Your time is just as important as my time, okay? I'm not making $600-700 an hour, but your time is just as important as my time. Get the fuck out of here. So that's really why they didn't want me back as a patient, because I was too complicated. Yeah. Excuse me. So I was there for 11 years, and then I went to this office, which is right downstairs from the other office. Same family that they promote. I've been there since 2015. So we are now in 2018. 3 years. In those 3 years, they've had 3 system changes, and I don't know about staff changes. Staff changes quite a bit, but 3 system changes. So every single time they have a system change, they have to refill in every single thing over. Nothing transfers over, apparently, because they have to ask me 9 million questions all over again. And then they don't have any history, and they don't want to go back. Now, I understand not wanting to go back 20 years. I understand that. So you should have key notes, and not based on what I say. You know, you should not be pulling information based on what I say, because I don't know the medical terminology. Like, I knew I had a partial hysterectomy. That's what it was called, a partial hysterectomy. What does that entail? I don't fucking know. It's not my job to know either. I'm not a fucking doctor. I know the medical term partial hysterectomy. Now, a partial hysterectomy, from the lady I spoke with yesterday, can mean many things. It could have meant that the uterus and the tubes were taken, but the cervix was stayed, and the ovaries. It just means some stuff was taken, but some things were not. That's what that means. So it then is up to the doctor to determine, when I say partial hysterectomy, what that means. And so maybe you should have notes. Because when I went to Connecticut, I didn't have to go through all of this again. I didn't have to explain my entire medical history after I, did it the first time. The office sent all my stuff downstairs. Connecticut, sent all my stuff down to Connecticut. Connecticut knew exactly when I had pap smears. They knew when I had my shots. They knew all of this stuff. The only thing that they didn't have was, because I didn't request it from Dr. Page himself, I requested it from Central Maine Medical Center. So you'd think that it would have gone over, but of course not. The only thing that wasn't over there was the pap smear part. That was the only thing that wasn't over there. That whole, and the stuff before, when I was seeing Dr. Page with the tubal and the freezing of the cervix and all that stuff. That was the only thing that wasn't sent over. But all of the other stuff was sent over. And so they knew, and then that's when I went for the ultrasound, so that way they could tell. And then once after I had the ultrasound, they said I didn't need to have pap smears anymore. They didn't explain why. They just said I didn't need to have pap smears anymore. No, they never asked me. They never asked me about a pap smear again. So who the hell wants to go have pap smears? I'm not going to volunteer for that shit. So, it's just frustrating. And so I have to sit down and have this long, write it out and make sure that it's not rude, but it's detailed, because they're suggesting medical treatment that's unnecessary. So that's it. I've got my vinyl in, so I'm going to be making my hoodies and getting orders out this weekend, which is great. Can't wait to do that and try this new vinyl. Hopefully it's good. Some of my order didn't come in, so I have to wait for some things, but I will finagle it. I'll go to Hobby Lobby and buy some stuff to make up for what did not come in. So you know what I say, the best investment you can make is an investment in you. What are you investing in you today? So I'm probably not going to go to the gym. I haven't been feeling good, as you can tell. I haven't taken the allergy medicine, but it doesn't get any better. And by the end of the day, I'm feeling awful. So I probably won't go to the gym today, but I definitely will be going tomorrow. And I have a busy, jam-packed weekend. So that is that there. I got to get my son's car over to the mechanic, so that way we can have that looked at. So you guys have a wonderful day, and I will most likely check in with you tomorrow, because it is Friday, and it is hopefully it's going to be a nice day. It's cold. It's starting to get cold. I mean, it's 54 degrees already, so it's Maine, I guess. So you guys have a great day, and I will check in with you tomorrow. Bye-bye.